Hi guys, Jack Peach here from the Dynastic Dating Program, and I am going to be sharing with you a very special piece of content, a very special interview with one of my former clients, Jeremy, one of the alumni of the Dynastic Dating Program. And he's been very kind and very gracious to take this time and put his face to our time working together, which I really, really appreciate. So thanks for joining, Jeremy. How are you today?
Very good. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Appreciate it a lot. So I want to just jump straight into it and ask the first question, which is, we worked together. It was a couple of years ago now at this point.
Yeah.
And I want you to kind of try and jump back to what it was like before you joined the Dynastic Dating Program, before we did work together, and kind of get back into that mindset. And do you remember like what it was that kind of made you decide to reach out in the first place and kind of decide to talk to me, and what kind of triggered that decision?
Sure. Where I was in dating, it wasn't leading into something that was lasting. It was, it wasn't anything that led to what I was looking for ultimately, which is a lasting relationship, marriage, kids, whole nine yards. And the tools that I had from just trial and error and whatever other red pill content that I could pick up and cobble up together to my own style, really wasn't amounting to anything fruitful. And so, after doing some soul searching and really thinking about what I wanted to do with my life long term and dating, I said, okay, well, if I want to get this thing right, rather than continuing to do the trial and error failure as I have been doing for some time, I might do me some good to reach out to somebody that has the skills to, give me what I need to really solve the problems that I have and really get me to where I'd like to be, which is, that lasting relationship. So once I found your content, among others, I settled on you because, you talked about, dating, not about, you would see in the red pill sphere, which is, hey, get as many notches as you can. It was more about building something that was meaningful. And so after that, I said, okay, I'm going to go with Jack and see what he's all about.
Yeah. And would you say it was more that kind of alignment in terms of what initially attracted you to me was more like, it's what you want, right? It's that goal of like marriage, right?
For sure. It's exactly that. I didn't feel bad about it. A lot of the, I got to keep saying is that red pill communities, you see a lot of content that isn't really driven to getting into something that is lasting. And I converted not too long ago into Orthodox Christianity. I had that in my mind at the time. I knew that that's what I wanted to do, but a lot of the content was just really, I would say, anti-marriage, anti-long-term. That's why you'd see all that MGTOW stuff. And so for sure, your content was what I was looking for, and it was giving me what I truly wanted.
Yeah, no, appreciate that. And why do you think you were stuck before working, with me? Part of it's that the red pill content. The other content is, you said there was a bit of trial.
Lack of feedback, and that's why your program was awesome, because you'd give me the tools that I need, and then you would provide me the feedback, right? And so it wasn't just, hey, I'm out on my own, right? So you were there with me to guide me gently. Hey, if I made a mistake here or there, whether it be how I carried myself, how I communicated, it doesn't matter. You'd give me positive feedback that would continue to push me in the direction of someone that, I would be proud to be day to day. And so, after how many months was it that we'd worked together?
I forget, 3 or 4 maybe.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit longer.
yeah. It was in those short span of time, because of all of the feedback, whether it's texting, calls, emails, all of it, that constant day-to-day feedback, you fast tracked me to developing into the guy that I really wanted to be, rather than going through all that trial and error that would take, you know, years and years, and who knows if it would have been successful,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So
Yeah, it's no, it's good. And I suppose the logical follow on from that is, after the time working together or during the time working together in our case, like what what specific results did you actually experience as a result of joining the Dynastic Dating Program?
sure. So going into it, I immediately knew not to settle on what I was looking for. So I knew the type of woman that I wanted to settle down with. We worked very hard on developing that vision together. And you know, straight away, I found somebody that fit that vision, and we hit it off. And I'm married now, happily married, got a kid, and God willing, more kids on the way. And you know, it was all very fast. It was
Yeah.
shockingly fast. Right? It's just a couple of these tweaks that you made, um, and the results speak for themselves. So
Yeah, as I recall, you're one of the quickest clients I've ever had to meet
yeah,
someone that get you. I think it was literally like 3 weeks or something, and then you met
yeah,
your now
yeah. It's
wife.
wild.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the key to that was like this is what a lot of guys don't realize is often they're actually getting opportunities. It's
Yep.
just about not taking them, and sometimes guys
Yeah.
are subconsciously self-sabotaging or doing things that they're not even aware of that they're doing. That's pushing away these people who they could potentially spend their lives with. And I just think with you, it was just you were also, from my perspective, someone who applied very fast.
Yep.
You jumped straight into it and made those applications very very quickly, and then you just happened to meet that woman. Like I say, I think it was literally like 2 or 3 weeks. I forget
Yep.
exactly, but it was
Oh yeah.
very fast. Yeah,
Hmm.
um,
Yep.
yeah. And do you remember like specifically any of those specific tweaks that we did make? Was there anything particularly that stood out in your mind where it was like, oh yeah, that was kind of like
Oh yeah.
an
Sure.
epiphany moment?
One thing that I think every guy should hear is that you don't have to have, millions in the bank account. You don't have to have the fancy car, the six pack. You don't have to be an MMA fighter, Rico Suave, all of these things that you in your head say and you need to have checked in the box to attract the right woman. You don't need to have all those things. Instead, you need to develop that internal confidence and that understanding that you already have value,
Yes.
and it's right, and it's up to you to bring that out in a manner that other people can see. And this is not to say this is not to say that money, cars, being jacked, all of that are not beneficial, because they are too. That's another component of it. But those are not just it. There's a lot more to it, because you can have all of that and still fail,
Yeah. I'd
right?
say they're
And
supplementary, right? They're
yeah,
things that are supplementary value. The true value is you and how you communicate that,
yep,
right? And again, a big part of that is how you view yourself as well. If you don't view yourself
yeah,
as someone who has value, then you're going to communicate that subconsciously as well,
yeah.
which is part of the work that I
Well,
often do as well. Yeah.
that's why you see those guys that make plenty of money and they'll just simp buying women, because they just give all this cash to women like a typical streamer simp, because they have what you would think is necessary, say a lot of money, but then they don't have that internal self-value, and so they do things like that scream, hey, I don't value myself.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah,
And in terms of like the actual kind of specifics of the program, how it ran, and things like that, what was there anything in terms of like the kind of logistics of the program that you particularly liked that you found very very valuable that you can
sure.
remember?
It's very structured. Hey, we're gonna have a call a week, 2 calls a week if need be, or more. It doesn't matter. And that you're pretty good with setting up the time that worked best for me.
Mhm.
And then on top of the calls, you were very responsive to messages, online. Anytime I had a question, you would get back to me, usually within the same day, maybe a day or two if you're pretty slammed. But for the most part, it was same day. And all of that made me feel like, hey, I have somebody that actually is very invested in me developing.
Mm.
It's not somebody, hey, maybe you'll get results and see what happens. No, you were really invested. And it showed by the time that you put into really guiding me through the program. So
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, because that's a good lead on for the next, follow-on question, which is, unfortunately, the space that I operate in, the dating, space, it is, unfortunately, it's filled with a lot of, grifters, a lot of snake oil salesmen, people
yeah,
who, aren't invested in their clients, and you can normally tell that. But why, or if you're speaking to someone who's maybe, concerned that I'm one of those people, which I actually, whenever people say that, I always think is a valid concern, because I know people
yeah,
in this space who are that. Like, and I'm not going to call
yep,
them out publicly, but I know people like that. I follow people in their content, and I can just tell these
yeah,
people are just regurgitating information and not investing in their clients. The way that they,
sure.
produce the information shows that. But what would you say to people who have that concern about me and the Dynastic Dating Program? What would you say to those people?
Um, just sit on it. I know it's hard to to trust in, with that in mind, that there's so many grifters out there, so many uh, snake oils. Sorry, how do I say that?
All right.
Snake,
Snake oil salesman.
whatever. Snake oil salesman, right? Just sit on it, think about it, and genuinely listen to the way Jack carries himself, and what he's trying to get you. Like, listen to what he's trying to get you versus what other people say they want to get you. It's very easy to then separate the wheat from the chaff, because other people want to get you short, instant gratification, easy shortcuts to getting a lay, whatever. They're not here to give you something that is genuinely good for you, and it's hard to do that. It's hard to swim against the current, and Jack does it, and he does it confidently. And if you can just sit there and really accept that, um, it'll be easy to accept too that he's the real deal.
Yeah, no,
So
I appreciate that a lot, Jeremy. It means a lot. I like to think that the intentionality shines through, but I also understand like people do have, should have resistance to
yeah,
this and have that. It's natural. So I don't like blame people when they do.
yeah,
So yeah, I think that's a good place to close it up. I just want to say thank you very much again for taking this time to do this, Jeremy. I appreciate it a lot. I
yeah,
know it takes a lot of confidence to put your face to this. Like most of my clients, most of my testimonials are anonymous. Like I was saying to you before we, jumped on before we started recording, like, when there's been a bit of distance, it can sometimes, that embarrassment or whatever else you want to call it can fade a little bit. So that's why I reached out to you and a couple of other people to do this. But I just want to say I appreciate it a lot. And I don't know if
yeah.
there's any final words you want to say to anyone watching this, anything you want to close it up with?
Don't let fear be the reason why you didn't, take the risk in signing up to Jack's program. Uh, I took that leap of faith, and it was the best decision I made in a long time. So that's all I gotta say.
Perfect. I don't think I have anything to add to that. So appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this as well, everyone else. And yeah, I'll see you very soon. I doubt you'll see Jeremy very soon, but I will. So take care, guys, and thank you for watching.